everyone, to season 4, episode 34 of the Hall of Fame show. And I'm Kirk Buchner along with Nolan. And we run NotInHallOfFame.com, the fictitious athlete Hall of Fame, the fictitious rock and roll Hall of Fame. And next month, probably, I guess late January, we're going to have some big news about our bastard child together, the United States Athletics Hall of Fame. So that we're very excited
You
about.
need a better tagline for it than that. Just
The
a better
bastard
tagline
child?
would be good.
Well, that's
how about just our joint pride and joy?
our joint pride and joy.
You don't even worry about the parenting on this.
Well, I'll work on that.
Okay, please.
I never said I was great at this sort of thing. I'm just sort of here. And this is the Hall of Fame show where we're going to be talking about Hall of Fame related news. And there's a little bit of news that we can sort of look at today. Two distinct Hall of Fames have got some news that we're going to be taking a look at. And we love this when a franchise sort of creates something like that. That's sort of a big for us. So I guess we'll just get into some real main order for this. So let's just go to football, since I think that's sort of our near and dear to our heart. The Black College Football Hall of Fame has announced their class of 2024. Some names that you'd know, some names that you may not, and because some became major stars and some did not. But either way, for those wondering what this specifically is, basically it's the College Hall of Fame specifically geared towards the HBCUs, the historically black colleges and universities.
Yep.
This 15th class, it's housed in Atlanta along with the College Football Hall of Fame. So I'll just go alphabetically. Quarterback from Tennessee State, Joe 747 Adams.
Yep. Played mainly in the Canadian Football League.
Mm-hmm.
With the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Toronto Argonauts, and Ottawa Roughriders. There are a lot of rough riding going on in Canada.
Yeah. Vinny, our friend Vinny Lospinoso, asked me once, how come there's two teams in the CFL at one point that were named the Rough Riders? And my answer was, I don't know.
But yeah, so
they're spelled differently though.
Quarterback at Tennessee State University, went 25-7 as a starter while I was there. Threw for 30 touchdowns just in his senior season. Selected by the Niners in the 12th round of the 81 draft. That's when you know you're old, when you're drafted in a round that no longer exists.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember Troy Brown was an 8th round draft pick to the Patriots. And I say, how old do you feel? And he goes, my round doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, exactly. Especially when you look at some of the players in the 60s from the 15th round and stuff like that.
When they had like 12 teams and they had 15 rounds because they had too many people. So, but yeah, so yeah, Joe 747 Adams out of Tennessee State is the first one.
Antoine Bethea, who I think a lot of people know his work in the NFL, but in college he was a star defensive back at Howard. 187 tackles, 7 picks. But mostly he's most known for a 14-year career, a lot with the Niners, Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, the Colts are what he's probably best known for. Remember that Super Bowl 51 winning team. I think of him with the Colts. I don't remember him with the Cardinals and Giants, to be honest. I remember with the Niners. But a very good player for a very long time in the NFL.
Another Tennessee State player, linebacker Waymond Bryant. So he first, I had to research what this meant. First team Little All-American.
Is that Division 1 AA?
I believe so, yeah. But he made it to the NFL 4 years with the Bears.
He was a fourth pick in the draft.
Fourth pick overall, yeah. So I mean, I guess in theory you'd look at that as a pro bust, I suppose. But whatever, he still made it, and one of the best players ever at Tennessee State. So you can't take that away from him. Kevin Dent, Jackson State, another defensive back. Only player I read in Jackson State history to make 3 All-American teams. Also a 2-time SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, 21 picks, and he's the only one here who's already a major Hall of Famer. He's already in the College Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, seems pretty obvious that he should have already been in this Hall of Fame. This is their 15th class. It seems strange it took him that long to get to Kevin Dent. So,
Richard Huntley at Winston-Salem State, running back. Rushed for over 1,000 yards, all 4 of his years, 6,296 yards. Uh,
That
six.
was second. That was second all time in NCAA history when he retired.
Oh, was it? Okay, I missed that.
Yeah,
But
which is pretty good. I don't care what level you're paying at. That's pretty good.
absolutely, yeah. 6 years. He was a journeyman, but he still made it for 6 years. Uh,
Yep.
I'm gonna go.
The career scoring leader
Mhm.
in the CIAA with 372 points and 62 touchdowns, drafted by the Falcons in the 2006 draft. So
I'm going to keep doing this alphabetically, even though I should do this last because it's a coach. But Eddie Hurt, Morgan State. So he had a coaching record of 173 and 67, 14 CIAA championships, and 6 Black College national championships. So it almost feels like he should have been in already.
and he
Because
was undefeated in 8 consecutive seasons.
yeah, so his tenure, maybe he's just somebody who they forgot about. 1929 to 1959, which is you think he would have been in earlier, but
Yeah, 30
there's so
years,
many.
but his Morgan State teams were undefeated from 1932 through the 39 season, which
Mhm.
is which is a long time. Again, I don't care what league.
No, absolutely, absolutely, and probably the biggest name, especially for our purpose, because
Yeah, definitely the biggest name as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, Lamar Parrish played at Lincoln, defensive back. Most of us remember him for his time with the Bengals, and in our chat groups, because we have our little X chat group, uh, we often sort of wonder how did Ken Riley pass him, but because they were both on the same defensive back line, but whatever. Uh, Either way, certainly somebody who could be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's now in this Hall of Fame, which is great. I couldn't find out much about his college career though.
Hold on, my computer just froze what I was looking at.
Okay, well, while
Uh,
you're doing that, so 8 Pro Bowls, most of them with Cincinnati. He also played with Washington and Buffalo
yeah, but he's a Cincinnati Bengal.
for the
The
most part.
way,
Yeah, but yeah, I think one of those Pro Bowls was with the Redskins, but
mm.
he's mostly known for his time in Cincinnati. So this makes the 15th class. Their induction ceremony will be this summer. So congratulations to the newest members.
Yes. All right. So here's what I had. It's open again.
Oh, yeah, please.
So he was defensive back and kick returner. Had the longest punt return in Lincoln history for 95 yards. Actually, he had 129 yards in a single game of punt returns.
Good.
Also has the single game season and career punt return record still at Lincoln with his career punt return average was 15 and a half yards, which if you know anything about punt returns is a lot of yards.
It's a few.
Yeah.
So again,
So,
congrats to those new members. I'm going to apologize ahead of time because we're going to go to the switch over to the International Tennis Hall of Fame, and the 3 new members I'm not familiar with.
I'm
I
familiar with, so I could talk to the first one.
Okay. So yeah, that's good. And just there's not really a big name here. Most of my tennis watching over the last most of my life, mostly I watch women's tennis or men's singles. We've
Mhm.
got a superstar, one of the best doubles players. Actually, I'll let you sort of take over there as the de facto headliner.
Yeah, so Leander Paes is the person here. He's won Grand Slam in mixed doubles and doubles. So he's won the Australian in 2012, French 99, 2001, 2009, Wimbledon in 99, US Open in 06, 09, and 13. So
Mhm.
those are his Grand Slam doubles results. His mixed doubles, he's won Australian 3 times, French once, Wimbledon 4 times, US Open twice. Also, finished fourth at the Olympics back in 2004. So
Oh,
he
didn't
was
he win?
ranked number.
I read that he
I'm
won a
sorry.
bronze too in doubles in Atlanta. Am I mistaken in that?
You are correct. He did win a
Okay,
bronze. I
yeah.
apologize. In '96. That's correct.
I think what's
Um,
also interesting here is the country that he did it for. I've often mused that you would think that a country the size of India
mhm.
would do much better in the Olympics. Obviously, Leandro is from India. Uh, he represents actually along with another person that we're going to talk about. So India's now has their first and second representatives in the International Tennis Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So
And
I
honestly, if you're gonna pick somebody from tennis for India, who's a player, Leander Paes is the only person to really choose. He's just turned 50, so he's
it just qualifies.
you know,
Oh
yeah,
no,
he
no.
qualifies.
That's golf. Yeah, they can be younger in tennis.
Um, born in Calcutta, now Kolkata. But yeah, he turned pro in '91, retired in 2021. Won $8.5 million his career, but I mean, like I said, dominant on the double side of things. Didn't really participate a ton on the single side. He only has one singles title to his career, but it makes sense to me that he's the first Indian player in a tennis player in the hall. So.
Yeah, and because he's joined by a person that I wasn't familiar with. Like I said, I wasn't familiar with all of them. VJ Armitage. So player, broadcaster, promoter. So I guess he pretty much did a whole hell of a lot for Indian tennis behind the scenes.
Yeah. So from what it says, he's essentially like the face of tennis broadcasting in Asia and the Middle East.
Okay.
So he basically is the commentator for them over there.
Yeah, because he did enter as a
And
contributor, even though he was a former player. So it's pretty
yeah.
specific on
So I
that.
mean that's what he's better known for. I can't say I know him a ton, but from having looked this up, that's where he's better known.
Mhm.
So
And they're joined, so it's a non-American affair. British journalist Richard Evans, who was covering tennis for the 1960s, apparently. And he also served an executive role from 2001 to 2014 as a founding member of the International Tennis, was it Coalition? Or was it the Hall? No, it's not.
so I do know who Richard Evans is. I've read his
Okay,
article
please.
before. So I was very, very big into tennis around
Michael Chang years.
yeah, the Michael Chang years. Michael Chang is one of my favorite athletes of all time. Um, so imagine my best comparison I make is Richard Evans is the Bob Ryan of tennis.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like been around since the beginning of the open era, very instrumental, honestly, in the way that the open era of tennis developed. Knows all the stories, has all the access, has been around forever, has seen everything. He's written 23 books. He's reported on over 200 Grand Slams. Like this man has absolutely seen it all. That's why I think of Bob Ryan. I guess Gammons from baseball would be the same sort of person.
Mhm.
Again, if you're going to put a reporter in, Richard Evans is your choice. So.
All right, so congratulations to this class. Something I think this is a little bit more fun for you and I, maybe more for you since of your current living situation, not necessarily of your fandom. The Chicago Bulls, after 57 years, they're doing a Ring of Honor, not a Hall of Fame, but a Ring of Honor that I think is. I wish, and you and I, we sort of came to this conclusion. I don't know whether it was you or me, or one of us said it and we both agreed with it, that every franchise should come up with something after 25 years to honor former executives, players, contributors, so
Franchise or league. I think because it was. I think we talked about this when the Premier League came up
that
with
could have
theirs.
been when we first, yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
think
I've had that
originally
number in my head forever, but that might have been
yeah,
the first time that, yeah.
yeah. I think when we talked about the Premier League Hall of Fame originally, which is like 3 years old, the first time I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. And then I think somebody else came was I can't remember some other franchise that did as well. Probably like the Carolina Panthers, one of the '98 franchises.
Mhm.
Uh, Maybe the Rays, the Rockies. I can't remember who else did. I mean, I think it was the Rockies actually. Also did it after 25 years, and that's the appropriate amount of time. This is 57 years. It's way too long. It's weird though because the Bulls are kind of one of the preeminent franchises in the league. They one of the few franchises that sells out all the time. They lead the league in attendance, but they really have an incredible history of. I will be generous and give it 15 years.
Mhm.
I mean, they won the 6 titles. It was really 10 to 12, but I'll give them 15 years of incredibleness. And they've been a pretty mediocre franchise the rest of their time, right?
Yeah,
Um,
if you were to sort of like do sort of like a graph there, it'd be a mountain. I mean,
exactly.
there's no other way to put it, but I don't think that there's any snubs here at all for this first class.
I agree. They did a really good job with this class.
Should we do this alphabetically?
Yeah, that's more work than I want to do, but sure, go ahead.
Oh, no, I got it. I got it. So starting alphabetically, these are the people who are going to comprise the first Hall of Fame class. Also, there's a full team, which don't let me forget that there is. So
Yeah.
Basketball Hall of Famer Artis Gilmore, who was a center for them in
Mhm.
the late 70s and early 80s, four-time All-Star while he was there.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
just keep going. Like, I'm just going to agree with you. They all belong here. So,
Yeah, okay. Sounds good. The Zen master, Phil Jackson, who began as an assistant coach, but he was the head coach for all 6 titles.
I'm not sure. Do you think Phil Jackson belongs? It's questionable.
Well, I mean, I, I'm on the fence there, but I'm a little bit more on the fence for the next person, alphabetically. Michael Jordan.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan, have you
Oh,
know?
well, there you go.
Uh,
But
no,
yeah,
I mean, the man only finished second in our voting for the greatest athletes in the history
of the
of the
United
U.S. sport.
States of America, yeah.
Yeah, he finished 3 votes short of Muhammad Ali. For those of you guys who didn't see that announcement, Muhammad Ali was number one. Jordan was number two by 3 votes. Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah, a little bit of an understatement. Hopefully, he doesn't go in there in Charlotte gear.
Well, this is one of those things like when we did another one of the things we've come up with, or mainly you, the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
You just decided we're just putting in Rocky Balboa, and we'll move on from there.
Yeah,
They could have just been like, we're going to do this. Jordan's in. We'll talk about it next year, and everybody would have been fine with
they
it.
very well could have, and that might have been a better idea, frankly.
Mhm.
Now that I think
Yeah.
about that. But yeah, obviously, you can't win. MJ is MJ. I mean, like that. That's all there is to it. There's nothing that you, I, or even our good buddy Jack Silverstein. Another shout out to him, Chicago-based writer who's coming up with a new book soon called Six Rings about that dynasty. There's nothing that any of us could say that is going to make you go, oh, it's just that. It's just that big.
Mhm.
Johnny Red Kerr, interesting one too, because he's mostly here because he was a head coach there, but he's really there as a broadcaster. His playing
Yeah.
days was mostly with the Syracuse Nationals / Philadelphia 76ers, but he did become synonymous with your city, your new adopted city, I should say.
My new city
Yeah,
that
because
I go to once every 2 months because I live out in the burbs.
well, okay, but I mean, yeah, I mean, if you didn't know what city Evan's really from, look at that hat.
Drogheda in
I know,
Ireland.
I'm just thinking it's
From County Mayo.
no,
No, from Boston.
Boston. Can you
Boston.
turn that accent on and off if you really wanted to?
Oh yeah, I absolutely do. When I'm meeting with blue collar clients in the Boston area, I 100% put on a fake accent.
No shit. Well, was it fake or is it something that is real to you because you can turn it on and
I
off?
mean, this is my normal voice. I don't have the. It's not like I had the Boston accent and tried to lose it, but I worked with a lot of people in Boston, so I can use it whenever I need to. But there are certain people they looked at you as an outsider, so don't talk with a little bit of the conservation of Oswald anyway.
Gotcha.
My kids hate it when I do this accent. They're like, "Dad, it stinks." I'm like, "Aren't you sad that we didn't grow up in Boston? You get to end up talking like this."
I had a buddy when I was living in Barbados. He grew up in Barbados, but most of his formative years was in Britain. So when he's talking to me, he's got the British accent. When he's talking to the locals, and he throws that on, and that's like shit. Now I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But
Yeah, yeah.
Dick Klein, general manager, but the first general manager from 67 to 69, but he's here because he was a founder of the team.
Yep.
And you can't argue that. I guess I could argue the least successful of this group, but he's the
But
founder.
he founded the team. There's a certain amount of, okay, I get it. That goes
Yeah,
on with it.
totally. Love him or hate him, Jerry Krause, general manager, but he was the architect of those 6 teams, those 6 titles, sorry. Uh,
Yep.
a minor surprise, but I think he's eager because he's in the Hall of Fame, mostly for his international accomplishments. Tony Kukoc.
Mhm.
He was part of the second three-peat. Very
Yep.
good player. Won the sixth man of the year.
And
Uh,
remember that team we're going to talk about that got inducted. So
right, absolutely. Bob Love, forward. He went to 3 All-Star
Yep.
games. Was he a Hall? No, he's not a Hall of Famer, but he was very, very good. Someone who,
Also not a beach boy, although you think he would be with that name.
oh, when you say that, then we're also saying that Bob Love was not an asshole.
I didn't say that.
I don't, well, we are saying that Mike Love is, so I just want to make that
Yeah,
very
that's true.
clear so that I don't know what the Venn diagram is for Bulls fans and Beach Boys fans, so I just wanted to be very, very clear
Got it.
and not get any hate messages. Uh, Dennis Rodman, again, another person of the second three-peat, Basketball Hall of Famer from 2011. Uh,
Your alphabetizing is interesting.
oh yeah, I saw what I just did. I don't have my bad glasses on because
Mhm.
I skipped over Scottie Pippen, who is now going to find a conspiracy theory on that. I'm sorry, Mr. Pippen.
He's
You
not coming off. He's not coming off the bench, Kirk. He refuses. He's gonna go play in Portland.
well done, well done.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah, Scottie Pippen. You can although Jordan was the MVP of all 6 finals as he should have been.
Yeah,
Does he win all 6 without Pippen?
probably not.
Probably not. And Scottie Pippen was rightfully also first ballot inductee to the Basketball Hall of Fame, member of the Dream Team too in 1992. Uh, some people just look at him as a second banana. No, he's just the perfect right part for that team. Jerry Sloan. He's here for his combined effort. I think a lot of people forget that he was one hell of a player.
Yeah, he was Charles Oakley before Charles Oakley.
Yeah. Also an assistant coach and a head coach. He did get in the Hall as a coach in 2009, but 2-time All-Star, 6-time All-Defensive player. So he had chops. You don't look at this guy and think like, how the hell could you play like at that level? But he did. Another great one here. I like this one. Chet Walker, forward from 70 to 75. His sort of one of those rare people that you can say you can divide a career half and half. His
Mhm.
second half was with the Bulls, where he, did very, very well. 4 of his 7 All Stars were there. He became the Hall of Fame inductee in 2012. A name I forgot all about, and I shouldn't have. Tex Winter, assistant coach,
Yeah,
again, all 6 of those.
creator of the triangle offense.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
yeah, somebody who, and when I was writing all this, I was I'll give him another shout out. Maybe Vinny can make a Hall of Fame case for him.
Sure, I think there's a legitimate Hall of Fame case to be made for Tex Winters, particularly with the Basketball Hall of Fame, where
Yeah.
as an assistant coach, I think it's very possible to get in, as
Mhm.
opposed to an assistant coach in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which we're a long time from seeing.
If ever, may not
If
happen
ever.
in my
I
lifetime.
mean, someone, and there are a lot of people who can think of, because some of those coaches made the mistake of becoming head coaches where they sucked. So someone like Joe Bugle, who was a terrible head coach, but an incredible assistant coach, is never going to make it. Someone like Jimmy Johnson or Jim Johnson of the Eagles, that defense
I guess the
made with
closest Clark Shaughnessy.
Clark Shaughnessy, yeah. But
Yeah,
someone like Jim Johnson, the Eagles was smart enough to never become a head coach. So he only has his great resume as an assistant or defensive coordinator to fall back on. So
right. And the team you were referring to earlier, which I guess this might sort of lead into possibly inducting 5 other teams. I don't see why not. The
yeah.
1996 championship team, 72 and 10.
and and only 5 other teams. Um,
Did I say 6?
uh, I, yeah, I'm saying those 6. They're not gonna induct the 2000 and 12, 13, 14 team that lost Isaiah Thomas in the Eastern Conference semis.
I, I
Um,
I think you're sleeping on Luol Deng.
I will never sleep on Lou Deng. I will sleep on Carlos Boozer. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to induct a team,
Mhm.
there's no other team to induct. It's 72 and 10. Come on.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think this is fantastic. Uh, well done, Chicago Bulls. This is fantastic. I don't think there
It's
could be anyone who's got
overdue.
any problem with any of this.
Yeah, it's overdue. I mean, the only person you can really quibble with at all is the founder of the team. So it's kind of hard to quibble with
Maybe
that.
Kukoc, and even then, I wouldn't even say
I
that.
know nobody's mad about Kukoc.
Well,
So
I think Kukoc is there because he's a Hall of Famer. If Kukoc didn't get in the Hall of Fame on the international ballot, possibly
maybe
he might have got left off.
I'm just concerned that Rodman's in this hall without Jack Haley to help take care of him. So, um,
Oh
but
man.
anyway, no, it's a good class. Good for the Bulls to finally get on this. 32 years later than they should have.
Yeah, but I
So.
mean, we talked about the Cardinals in baseball.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Cardinals are much further behind. And to be fair, the Bulls of 32 years ago was, oh my God, I guess it was 1991. So they hadn't really hit anything particularly worthwhile as of yet. That was
So
the
I guess you just
beginning.
sort of like open it up
So
with Chet Walker and Jerry Sloan
yeah, and maybe Red Kerr.
and Gilmore, but that, yeah, that's about
Yeah,
it. But
yeah.
again,
So
so at least we got some Hall of Fame related news. I love that. Uh, Sadly, we go to the sad part of the section where we look at some of the people who we lost.
yeah. So starting with some celebrities, or a couple I just want to talk about quickly.
Mhm.
First would be Ryan O'Neal. uh, Known for his role originally of Rodney Harrington on Peyton Place.
Holy shit, I missed
Uh,
that completely. He died?
yeah,
When did that happen?
December 8th.
I missed it completely. Oh my God.
Yeah,
He was
he
the
was
champ,
82 years old. What?
the champ.
The champ. Yep. Paper Moon. What's up, Doc? Um, uh,
Oh,
and of course, I loved him. And have you ever seen Barry Lyndon?
no.
That movie is from 1975, and the cinematography is so good it seems like it's 40 years later. You know that kind of weird cinema scope for those 70s movies all kind of had.
Yeah.
It it is so much better. That I really enjoyed Barry Lyndon quite a bit. Of course, A Bridge Too Far, stuff like that. But he, uh, I probably last saw him. I think he was the dad of Emily Deschanel on Bones. It's the last thing I can remember him in. But yeah, he was 82 years old. Just a
Was
pretty
he
much a legend.
nominated for an
Late
Oscar?
60s into the
You
70s.
know this. Was he ever nominated for an Oscar?
He was a couple times. So he was
Okay.
nominated for What's Up Doc and for Paper Moon. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, so the Academy Award for Best Actor and Golden Globe for Best Actor on both of them.
Missed it completely. Yeah.
Yeah, he also was nominated for Golden Globe for Barry Lyndon.
Okay.
But yeah, he was 82 years old. The one that struck me, I think, a little bit harder, Andre Brower passed away on the
Yeah.
11th
Yeah.
at the age of 61.
Hmm.
Um,
Great actor.
Captain Holt. Strange. A lot of people talked about him on Homicide, and they talked about him on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. There's a show I've talked about before on this that I really enjoyed. It was only on for maybe a season and a half,
What's up?
with Andre Brower, Scott Bakula, and Ray Romano, called Men of a Certain Age. Um, that he was just exceptionally good on, because I only really knew him from as a cop. And I really enjoyed that show, and I particularly enjoyed Andre Brower in that show. Um,
He had a bit of a role in SVU also. Yeah.
yeah.
Lawyer. Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
Cheddar's dad, and I say this as a corgi owner. So
yes,
I'll admit, like that's the first thing I thought of, which is so weird. But
I also remember him a lot from a movie I've seen a bunch. Did you ever watch Glory?
yeah.
So in Glory, he's the nerdy kid. You could tell he's the smart one because he wears glasses the whole time. He's a college educated person in the regiment.
Oh, that was him?
That's him. That's Andre
Oh
Brower.
shit. I haven't seen that in like
So
20 years.
yeah, after the captain gets killed with a flag, he's going to pick the flag up as part of the charge.
Yeah,
Um,
okay. So he was the one who worked for Matthew Broderick's family.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. I was about to see Matthew McConaughey. Like that would have been. I
All right, all right, all right.
don't know how I could ever.
Matthew McConaughey could do many things. I don't think he could play a 1860s guy from Boston, though.
I
So
don't know that Matthew Broderick did that particularly well either, but
yeah,
whatever.
whatever.
But yeah,
But
no.
yeah, he was around a lot in a lot of things,
Mhm.
and
Great actor.
honestly, so one of my I watch a Dungeons and Dragons show a lot of it. I finally caught up, by the way, to the new season. Episode 79 right now. Each of these episodes is 4 hours long, just so you know. So it's a commitment. Uh, but they have an animated version of it for the Legend of Vox Machina, and the dragon, the main bad guy this last year was Lance Riddick from Bosch and
Just
The
lost him
Wire.
a year ago.
Passed away, same age, born the same year as Brower. Uh,
Wow.
uh, yeah, passed away back in March, and they're like,
Same
"Who's going
age,
to be?"
really? Lance Riddick was 61.
He was 60,
Lance
so he hadn't had his 61st birthday yet.
Lance Riddick
Um,
looked 20 years younger.
he did,
Yeah.
but Lance Riddick passed away, and they're like, "Well, who's going to take over for the voice of Thordak from the show?" I'm like, "We need to be Andre Brower." Like, I think Brower is the guy who can pull it off and
Hopefully, yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah.
And now Brower has passed away, and someone needs to write or rap Dennis Haysbert in bubble wrap, because
Pedro
we're out of like baritone African American actors in their 50s and 60s at this point. But yeah, Andre Brower brought a lot of joy and a lot of roles to me, and it was just shocking that he passed away. So he had died of lung cancer. He'd been diagnosed with it a few months prior.
Oh,
So yeah, actually, do you know the comedy duo of Garfunkel and Oates?
I know what it is, but I've never watched it.
Okay, so Oates from Garfunkel and Oates, Kate McCucci, was actually also just diagnosed with lung cancer. She's never smoked in her life. She's
She died.
41.
Oh, she didn't die. I also read that she was
No,
diagnosed.
she's just diagnosed with it, which is
Okay.
crazy to go. So anyway, so cancer, fuck you. And he will be very, very missed. I mean, we haven't really brought up Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is incredible. So
Yeah, my wife loved that. Loved that show.
yeah. So anyway, all right. Moving on to the folks through law. Oh, one other person. This made me feel kind of old in general. I never watched Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. But one of the kids from Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, Anna Chakotay Shannon, passed away at the age of 29, also from cancer.
I did that. Yeah, that I did read. How did I read this and then I didn't know that Ryan O'Neal died? What the hell am I looking on the internet? Uh, yeah.
Just crazy. That's way too young. I was like, wait a second. I never really watched that show, but I was somewhat familiar with who the characters were. And yeah, 29. First of all, couldn't believe she was 29 years old, because I'm still also 29. But yeah.
To be fair, my wife, the first time she saw you, she said, like, he's so young. Why do you do a show with somebody so young?
Thank you. The white in my beard is giving that away.
That's
So
why I don't have a beard right now going on.
yeah, my kids are making me keep it. I've wanted to get rid of it for a while, but they're making me keep it. I'm gonna get rid of it after it's no longer cold here. Although it hasn't been bad in Chicago yet. Should probably not say anything. Okay.
I'll bring the cold next month. Is that next month?
There you go.
Oh my God, yeah. Let's do a live show then.
Oh, cool.
You should.
Sure, absolutely. All right. Also passed away from the world of music, Nidra Beard, the lead singer of Dynasty. Do you remember Dynasty?
Not.
So they had a couple of, let's see how singles they had from 79 to 88. They're mostly on the R&B chart, including I think their biggest hit technically was in 1980, I've Just Begun to Love You.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, there's not just as my thing, but he's a lead singer of a band that had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 songs that charted and on
I'll
various.
check that out. Oh, okay.
But yeah, so he passed away at the age of how old was he? I apologize. He was 71. Um, Also passing away, another member of the Beach Boys, who I talked about, Jeffrey Foskett,
Mhm.
who joined the band started playing with Brian Wilson in 1979. And he was playing all the way straight through. He passed away at the age of 67. Um, a person who wrote a bunch of songs, Richard Kerr, who wrote Mandy,
Oh,
Looks Like We Made It, and Somewhere in the Night, all for Barry Manilow, and Dionne Warwick's I Know I'll Never Love This Way Again. Uh, he passed away at the age of 78.
yeah, so Barry
Um,
Manilow didn't actually write his own stuff, so he didn't write the songs that made the whole world sing.
he did not, no.
Oh man, that just
He also co-wrote the song Brandy. Brandy,
you're a fine girl.
by Looking Glass.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's a great song. Love that song.
Yeah. So he wrote that as well. Um, Trying to see who else, other ones you might know. Those are the main ones I would say. Um, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So he passed away at the age of 78. Um, Also Terry Balcom, if this will load, please. Thank you. Uh, One of the great banjo players, the Duke of Drive, passed away at the age of 71. I know that's not your thing, but I was into banjo at one point in my life. So he was drawn to banjo at the age of 10 because of the theme song to the Beverly Hillbillies,
Well, there you go.
and making that his career.
I can
I guess,
just imagine on our road trip from Chicago to Indianapolis, who's going to be controlling the radio. Well, I guess you, because you're driving.
yes. Well, yeah, but I don't play bluegrass for the kids. Although I can play Cabbage Water Down. That's the first song I learned to play on the banjo is Cabbage Water Down, bake them whole cakes round. The only song that I can play is Cabbage Water Down. That's the whole thing. That's their first song everyone learns playing the banjo. Yeah. But yeah, so he and Ricky Skaggs founded Boone Creek.
I know who
They
that
were
is.
together for 22
Yeah.
years. So, but he was 71 years old. The last person from music we lost was Lorraine DeAngelis, better known as Lola D or Lola Amici, who used to tour with Bob Hope, Johnny Ray, and Jimmy Durante during the 50s and 60s.
Like in those
She
USO
passed away.
tours and shit.
I'm sorry?
Like in those USO tours or something.
Things along those lines. Yeah, she passed away at the age of 95, born the same year as my dad. But she had hits from 1950 through 55. Don't Let the Stars Get in Your Eyes, Rock the Joint, a whole bunch of them that we've mainly lost. I was actually meeting with an 86-year-old client of mine the other day, and she said, "Do you remember the music of the 50s?" I'm like, "I'm familiar with it." She goes, "It sucked." The woman born in 1937. It's like, you know why we're all crazy for Elvis? Because we could do something more than just slowly rock back and forth with somebody.
That sounds
So
like that was the highlight of your week.
she also gave me a xylophone, a tambourine, a couple of bongos, one of those Mexican frogs you rub this thing down its back to make the croaking noise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She gave me that as well on my way out the door. But yeah, I was just thinking about that when I heard this. There are songs we've forgotten because,
Oh, you're
stuff
still
like
doing house calls? Yeah, I thought you had like 1,000 people work under you.
I do, but I still make house calls to some of my older clients with agents. So
Ah, okay.
this woman has been with me for 7 years, and she's been with the company for almost 50, if not
Gotcha.
more. So yeah, so I took one of my agents and went over there to help her out. So anyway, I really like some of them, so I'm gonna go see them, in particular when they say things like that. Anyway, all right.
Yep.
Moving on to hockey. We lost Mike Urquhart, who is a member of the British Ice Hockey Hall of Fame.
I did not
I
know
mean,
there was one.
I didn't either. That's why I brought it up. He passed away at the age of 65. He played for the Nottingham Panthers, the Oxford City Stars, the Cardiff Devils, the Chelmsford Chieftains, the Guildford Flames, the Bracknell Bees, and the Milton Keynes Kings during his career.
There was the Charleston Chieftains.
The Chelmsford Chieftains.
Oh, okay. I had a slap shot thing going in my head there.
I just think it's interesting. He played for the Panthers, Stars, Devils, Flames and Kings, but none of those are NHL teams. So
There you go. That's awesome.
he passed away at the age of 65. I brought it up mainly because I didn't know there was one of those Hall of Fames. We have another couple of football people coming up, but I do want to bring up this guy first. Oh, I'm sorry, I have one other ice hockey player. I apologize. Gene Carr, who played with the Blues, Rangers, Kings, Penguins, and Atlanta Flames, all in the NHL. Fourth overall pick of the Blues in 1971. He passed away at the age of 72. Son of Red Carr, who also played in the NHL.
Red Car was really good, if I remember
Red
correctly.
Carr was really good. So Gene, his son, passed away at 72. Okay. First person, the next three are football, and we have one real big basketball. So Bill Burgess passed away at the age of 82. Head coach of Jacksonville State, led them to the 1992 Division II NCAA championship. He passed away at the age of 82. He actually made the Division II championship 3 times in 4 years. They lost the first two and won the third. So, but yeah, he was 82 years old. Also passing away, Frank Wycheck.
Yeah.
Away, tight end for the Redskins and Oilers/Titans. Second team All-Pro in 2000, 3-time Pro Bowler. Member of the Titans Oilers Ring of Honor. 505 receptions for 5,100 yards and 28 touchdowns.
Super popular with that team.
I'm sorry?
Super popular with that team.
Yeah, very. Had been suffering from CTE, he was pretty sure. He had already said he was going to donate his brain to science when he passed. Fortunately, he passed the age of 52. He fell in his house and hit his head and never recovered from it. So, yeah, not the greatest, but he passed away at the age of 52.
Really
sorry.
No, I'm just saying, really good player. I guess I remember him from a lot of that. Was the Music City Miracle?
Yeah.
You know, like that era. So like I remember a lot.
Well, he was the one who threw it in the first place, right?
I believe so. I think he was part of that. And from what I might remember, just he was like a super popular player, like one of the more popular players on that team. So I think like the white check jerseys would be sold like a shit ton after the relocation. So like McNair, I believe, were the two big jersey sellers.
Yeah, Titans tight end Frank Wycheck threw lateral to Kevin Dyson.
Okay.
Yeah, and then of course Kevin Dyson, that same playoffs, right? Yeah, the same playoffs was tackled 1 yard short on the end zone in the Super Bowl. So, yeah. So, but yeah, 52 is too young. At the age of 82, passing away, one of the great players from the AFL, Kenny Graham, passed away. 4-time AFL All-Star, all-time AFL second team performer, played with the Chargers from 64 to 69, Bengals in 70, Steelers in 70. Was drafted in the 12th round in the NFL and the 13th round in the AFL, but played 90 games.
Only 18th, to be fair.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But it played 90 games with 28 interceptions and 5 touchdowns. Probably never going to make, he was a safety, probably never going to make any sort of Hall of Fame, but very, very good for a very long time.
Absolutely.
And those AFL guys are having trouble getting in anyway. It's still crazy to me of all the people they picked. Art Powell was the guy they got. So,
no, I'm with you.
So Kenny Graham was 82. But I guess the biggest name in sports we lost this week was George McGinnis.
Yeah.
Played 11 seasons in the ABA and NBA. Started at the University of Indiana, the Hoosiers, won All-American in 71. Started his pro career in the ABA with the Pacers. Was a 3-time ABA All-Star and won the ABA MVP in 75 and 2 ABA championships with the team. Then went to
I mean, also like a huge part of just like Indiana basketball. I mean, like he was a former Mr. Indiana basketball.
Yeah.
So one of the few beneficiaries when it was what I believe was the Spencer Haywood rule, which allowed him to sort of like turn pro earlier because the NBA didn't allow that, but the ABA did. So he
Mhm.
was able to play with the
The ABA
Pacers,
had the ABA had a hardship exception, is what it came down to.
right? So,
So
so
you could prove if your family needed the money,
yeah,
you could become pro early. So
and he was one of those people. So like he was already like, he was already a two like an all-star, ABA all-star by the time the NBA could draft him.
yeah, right.
Yeah, so he was drafted by the Sixers, and
Yeah,
when his contract expired, I think from what I understand, he was trying to get to the Knicks, and it looked like they sort of set that all up, and then that all fell apart. But he wound up doing pretty well for the 76ers. From what I understand, he thought he could be more marketable in New York, and I can't blame him for that. You can make more money, I suppose, marketing in New York than you can in Philadelphia. But he was still like not all the ABA All Stars when they got to the NBA were All Stars. He was,
correct. McGinnis 100% was.
yeah.
And and some interesting things. So um, just to give you an idea, particularly in the playoffs, what type of performer he was. So in the history of the ABA/NBA playoffs, two players ever have scored 51 points, had a triple double with 50 points. Right. So he had 51 points, 17 rebounds, and 10 assists
Mhm.
in game 4 of the West 75 Western Division semifinals against the Spurs. Only other player to do that was Russell Westbrook in the 2017 Western Conference first round against the Rockets. Right. First player to score 200 points, have 100 rebounds, and 50 assists in a single playoff series, which he did twice in back-to-back series. The only other player ever to do that was Giannis of the Bucks against the Celtics in the 2022 Eastern Conference semis.
Nice
It
company.
was the Celtics won, um, where he had 237 points, 103 rebounds, and 50 assists, right? And it's the only player first player in NBA, ABA history to lead the playoffs in total points, rebounds, and assists, which has only been matched by Nikola Jokic last year.
I heard he's pretty good.
Jokic isn't bad, but like that's saying something.
Mhm.
I'm like, it's just impressive. He tends to be a little bit forgotten because he got his championship years were those Pacers teams, and the ABA championships have been lost in the dust. A lot of the stuff that happened in the 70s in basketball, honestly, was lost in the dust.
Well, ABA, WHA, right? I mean, like
That's
if
also
you come
true.
out here in Winnipeg, I mean, I can't wait to show you the WHA Championship Abco Cup banners.
Wow. But
Oh,
yeah, it
serious?
just
Like you get a kick out of that.
100% will. Hey, the Lakers are hanging a banner for the in-season tournament. So
I
of
was wondering if that was going to happen for whoever won it,
course they are. Well, I mean, LeBron wanted it so bad. So
and he earned it. Good on
he
him.
earned it.
Yeah.
Yep. If they were just doing the MVP for just the championship, it was probably Davis. But for the whole tournament, I mean, it was LeBron. He was really good. So,
The
but anyway, back to
other
George.
thing too with McGinnis, he I think it was just last year, maybe even this year, he got inducted into the Indiana University Athletics Hall of Fame because he wasn't there that long because he left early. So thankfully he was still
Well,
alive.
he finished his career there as well.
No, Indiana University.
Oh, I'm sorry, Indiana University. I misheard you. Okay.
Yeah, because like no, he had his number retired from them some time ago, I believe, and then he got into
Mhm.
the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2017. I want to say I think I'm right on that, but yeah, no. So but his last big accolade, post career accolade, was going into the Hoosiers Athletic Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So his number's been retired by the Pacers. One of four numbers retired: Roger Brown, Reggie Miller, Mel Daniels, and McGinnis, all four Hall of Famers. So hard to argue that one. And then he was inducted in the 2017 class for Naismith with Tracy McGrady, Bill Self, and Rebecca Lobo.
Yeah, and thankfully the hall sort of like did sort of like have like they were focusing a lot on the ABA for that period of time, so.
Yeah,
No, that's
deservedly.
really good
But yeah, so
stuff.
he passed away at the age of 73.
Yeah. All right. So I guess that brings me to elevator up, elevator down.
Elevator up, elevator down.
And last week I didn't have anything. I do this week. A quick elevator up, but very quick. And I only say that because say what you want about the guy. he is now a member of the 25,000 point club. That's James Harden. Anyone who's Hall of Fame eligible, 25,000 points, is in the Hall of Fame. And everything you can say against him, I'm probably going to agree with. Saying that he's in this club, he's still good enough to score, and it's not impossible. I was just checking this out. Another 2,100 points gets him in the top 10.
And he is an MVP. And everyone who's ever won an MVP, with the possible exception of Derrick Rose when he retires, has made it to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame.
Right. But it's another notch on his belt. And the last, this week he's been playing great. Not that I'm basing this elevator up on this week. I'm not, but
I get it.
Very significant milestone. And I think that's worth shouting out. I've got two elevator down.
Presuming they retired on the same day, taking his teammate, Russell Westbrook, multiple-time teammate, 3-time teammate, the third team they've been on together.
Yeah.
Which of them would get in over the other, in your opinion? Westbrook or Harden?
Westbrook.
You pick Westbrook?
I pick Westbrook. Yeah. Westbrook also will be this year. He's going to get to 25,000 points himself.
Yeah, it'll be close to me. I think Westbrook probably too, mainly because James Harden and Kyrie Irving suffer from the same "I must destroy my team" vibe.
Westbrook is not a head case.
No, a lot of people don't necessarily like the way he plays basketball, but he's not a head case.
But he's not a head case. I mean, he doesn't leave teams in worse shape than when he got there.
True.
He's done it over and over and over again. Kyrie, well, I don't have to sort of like go in there. At least James Harden, I think a lot of people at least like the guy. Kyrie Irving, he's sort of like, huh?
Yeah.
But
it's just, I was just wondering, it's just interesting. I do think it's funny though. I do think it's funny that Daryl Morey was extended today.
I just saw that, yeah.
But somebody said that Daryl Morey has traded James Harden 3 times, or had been involved in James Harden trade 3 times in his career, and has won all 3 trades. So, or 4 times in his career, he's won all 4 trades.
So he's tied with China. There you go.
He won the trade with the Thunder. He won the trade with the Nets. He won the trade with the Nets again, and he just won the trade with the Clippers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Pretty impressive to trade the same guy, trade either 4 or get rid of the same guy 4 times, win all 4 trades.
Yeah, Harden will never win a title, but whatever. My elevator down, one's obvious, one's not.
Okay.
I'll go with the obvious. Draymond Green.
What can you say about Draymond Green that hasn't been said about Afghanistan?
There you go. Draymond Green is an interesting character. I don't have to tell everyone here what sort of transpired, but he's in trouble again. As we're recording this, he's on indefinite suspension. I'm not completely sold on Draymond Green anyway as a Hall of Famer. Saying that, if you were to tell me that he is, if you were to tell me that Golden State couldn't have won those 4 titles without him, I'd love a deeper conversation on that.
Dennis Rodman is a Hall of Famer, and Ben Wallace is a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Draymond Green is a Hall of Famer, and I greatly dislike Draymond Green.
Draymond's advanced stats are not as good as theirs.
Draymond has been, except for the 2000 season, he has been an all-NBA defensive basically every season of his career.
Saying that, right now we've got a guy who, and we mentioned earlier how there's things that we don't know. And the narrative is like, well, we've got to help Draymond mentally. Draymond, opinion, I'm either right or wrong. I don't know. I don't have a clue. But we've got a guy who's aging. You said pretty much earlier this year, and I think everyone would have agreed with that the Warriors were essentially cooked. Steph Curry is evading time. Clay and Draymond are not.
No. And to be honest, Draymond, when he's not suspended, has actually been playing pretty well this year. Clay is done. Totally
right, but okay, let's look at the last 3 people who he's had issues with that he sort of like knocked down or stomped. Sabonis, Nurkic, last one, I just blanked on the one in between.
And Rudy Gobert.
Thank you. All right. As much as I shit on Rudy Gobert, and accurately so, all three of these have something in common, and it's not just being European. They're all better than Draymond right now. And I wonder, I'm just throwing this out, I don't know, if in his headspace, here you have a guy who was an elite defender who's not elite anymore. He's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
How much of this is frustration out of him? I don't know. But I'm watching the narrative on him change as if like, okay, well, they've got to get him the help he needs. Or is the help he needs he's just a dirty player and that's just all it is? I don't know. But I mean, like, I wonder what do they know that I don't? So it's a tentative elevator down. My other elevator down is not necessarily an elevator. And I want to be very specific. When we came up with this, I wanted to be very specific about this elevator, right? This elevator that can go up to the tippy top of the Hall of Fame and you get Debo because he's the gatekeeper and he's going to let you in once you get to the penthouse.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got somebody who I want for the Baseball Hall of Fame, even if he doesn't complete 10 years, and that's Shohei Ohtani. His elevator now is a panic button because he just signed the biggest contract ever that he can't possibly live up to.
I mean, he signed the Bobby Bonilla contract of all Bobby Bonilla contracts.
Exactly. And that's why Bobby Bonilla was trending on the X when that all happened. And
I'm sorry, just for those at home, you can call the X. I can't do it. Just
whatever. I mean, like X Twitter, it doesn't matter. Okay.
I know. I can't do it. Anyway, continue.
Sure. If you haven't heard, most of his money is going to be deferred. It's a $700 million contract, which I believe all but 40 million is deferred.
Yeah, he's going to make $2 million a year, but he makes like 50 million in endorsements. So the rest he would be normally getting like 50 million, but the rest is going to be 62 million a year by the time he gets it, or 68 million, excuse me, by the time he gets it.
It's a brilliant contract on his part. Saying that, as I've said earlier, I'm a big believer in the narrative. So, Ohtani's not going to pitch this year. He is one injury away from becoming Giancarlo Stanton, a one-dimensional player. Now, I don't want that to happen. I love Ohtani. I want him to be like the biggest star ever. I want most people to be the biggest star ever. I don't really wish a whole lot of bad on anybody. But I'll put it this way. The day that the Dodgers got him, a tweet sort of like came in our baseball group where it looked like he was going to sign with the Blue Jays. I was so excited, but I was also so scared. And for those, I'm a Jays fan, obviously. When he signed with the Dodgers, my first thought was anger and then relief. Does that make sense? Because that's a hell of a lot of money that will hamper a team even as big as the Dodgers. This is a very, I don't even want to say calculated risk. This is a giant risk for Los Angeles. And this could also give Kevin Brown vibes either, too. Kevin Brown got signed to a giant contract by the Dodgers for that period of time and got labeled, as a person who just couldn't make that work. And Ohtani, is he going to ever be worth 700 million? Probably not. I hope he is. I really do. But what if all this results in no titles and chronic injury? Hence why there's a panic button on his elevator.
Interesting.
I personally, even if that happens, makes it 10 years. If I got a vote, which I never will have, he's always going to get that X in the thing for me. Always. Let's say in the next few years he falls apart physically. Which can happen to anybody. But especially someone who hasn't always pitched and hasn't always batted. He can fall apart super quick. So can anyone, but he could. If he does, and you've got that yoke of a contract. So let's say, hypothetically, 2026, he can't play anymore.
Mhm.
Eligible for the Hall in 2032. All right, it's now Shohei Ohtani Day because Barry Bonilla Day is the same day as
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like there's a button that just came on his elevator that just is RF or red flag.
It's interesting.
Just throw
So
it out there. I don't know. I hate saying I can't call this an elevator down, but it's like here there's another button that's because that has just said elevator can implode.
mhm. I mean, to be fair though, his deferral is already working. They traded for Tyler Glass now from the Rays
Sure.
and signed a $132 million deal that they wouldn't have been technically able to do because of that. I just can't believe the other teams allowed this
Can they
because this is a complete circumvention of the luxury tax.
but would it not work that way later or
I mean, sure, it works that way later, but let's just take the asshole who owns the Oakland A's. He wants his money now.
yeah, no, I suppose so. I mean, like, I guess it's one of those things. Well, if there's a loophole, you're going to do it.
Yeah, I can't believe that they allowed the loophole.
No, they may not allow it again. It was there, and Shohei's obviously very, very smart.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
You know, and he's one of those people who just see like. Obviously, I don't know him on a personal level. I don't know anything about him on a personal level. You know, he's pretty close to the vest. Good on him for that. Obviously, he's not stupid.
No, I mean, if someone's gonna offer you $700 million, it's kind of hard to turn it down.
Well, sure, but I mean, like, he just set himself up, and he doesn't have a family. I don't think.
I mean, I'm sure he didn't grow up under a toadstool.
Well, no, but I mean, like a wife, or you know what I'm trying to say.
And I was being a smart ass.
Well, no, just the fact that I mean, even well, you think you'd know that about somebody that big.
No, that's true. Well,
Yeah.
no, but I mean, no league does a better job marketing their stars, letting us know them, quite like the MLB. Right now, can you tell me what if I played 15 voices of 15 different baseball players? Could you pick up out which
No.
one was Mike Trout? No.
Zero. Oh,
Zero. Last,
for all I know, you're fucking Mike Trout. I don't know.
oh, I mean, my wife would hate that.
Yeah,
But
I just realized after I worded that sentence where you were going to go with that, and well played, sir. But yes.
I mean, maybe if there's hush money involved, it wouldn't be so bad. But
Yeah, but then it'd be Trevor Bauer.
ooh, good play. But like has MLB had a star that truly marketed honestly since Big Papi retired? Like, what do you know about Giancarlo Stanton? What do you know about Aaron Judge? Like Mookie Betts was marketable, but he's been quiet. Like, what do you know about Jose Altuve? Like, other than the fact he cheated allegedly. Like,
a lot of that too, though, is I mean, is companies that can we market around them?
True, but like,
You know,
why?
like Michael, like I can't say that the NBA was doing such a great job before Michael Jordan came around. It was just like, holy shit, we've got this. Did the NBA sort of like push that marketing, or did Michael Jordan, or just did companies come out and say like, oh yeah, we're taking advantage of this? I don't know.
There was a movie about it. You should watch it.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking. Yeah, I haven't seen that one, but yeah,
Right?
yeah,
I
okay.
haven't seen it either.
Okay.
But I don't watch any movies that are actually for adults. Actually, for my wife's birthday last week, we were gonna go up and see a double feature at a drive-in theater, but it was just too cold up here for that. So instead, it was gonna be It's a Wonderful Life and Holiday Inn back to back. We've both seen It's a Wonderful Life a ton of times. So we instead came home and watched Holiday Inn and Beastmaster, the 1980 whatever classic.
Starring
Back
Mark
to back.
Singer.
Starring Mark Singer. Yes.
Mhm.
But we watch Holiday Inn, which is most famous for, of course, where the I'm Dreaming of White Christmas comes from. Holy shit, is that movie racist? They celebrate the plot of that movie is that the inn is only open for 14 days a year, which are 14 different holidays. So they have Christmas, they have New Year's Eve, then the next one up is Lincoln's birthday,
Mhm.
and Bing Crosby's trying to hide his girlfriend from Fred Astaire. And so he decides to have everyone do their celebration for um, for Lincoln's birthday in blackface. Everyone is in blackface. And then 2 days later, because Lincoln's birthday is 12th, is Valentine's Day. It's like, you think we're gonna do Valentine's Day in blackface as well? And I was like, oh dear God. It was a lot. It was a lot going on. It was real bad. So um I mean your prime minister would have loved it, but I was waiting for you to make the joke.
No, I was still stuck on stupid that that this hasn't been canceled, and like I didn't even think of a Trudeau joke.
I had no idea. I'd never seen Holiday Inn. And White Christmas is wonderful, but like I was like, holy crap, this is bad.
I was sort of like watching my facial expression there. It's like, and I'm thinking like, man, I got to go back and like, I can't replicate what my shock to that. And they're doing black, like what the hell?
It's tough to watch. Just I know it was a different time, but like,
Well, there's a different time and there's certain thing. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it was 1941, I think, or 40 or 41 that movie came out. So,
All right. Well,
it's a year after Gone with the Wind. So, but anyway, so good time for the good, the bad, and the ugly, or
yeah,
the bad, the ugly.
Please, let's get out of this.
Okay, I'm going to actually add one other quick thing. I want to just say, hold this space.
Okay.
So something where I want to see what happens with it. It's just interesting. And the interesting thing is the Cubs announced their nominees for the 2024 team.
Okay, that I know you're talking about. Yeah.
And Sammy Sosa is on, which shouldn't surprise anyone. People should be surprised for two reasons. One, that he's not in the Cubs Hall of Fame already, and two, that this is news. So Sammy has been kind
if he goes there, will be in whiteface.
He's already there permanently. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just sorry.
Yeah. And he also has the domestic violence allegations as well, which complicates things. I'm taking that out. But like the Ricketts family has demanded an apology from Sammy Sosa, essentially for using steroids, which Sammy has never done. But the Ricketts family bought the team because it was a marketable team with a lot of national fan base, which Sammy Sosa had a lot to do with, and they bought it in 2009. After Sosa had been gone.
Sammy had never done steroids.
I mean, he corked his bat. I think he just corked his bat that whole.
Okay. Was he not part of the Mitchell report?
He was, but he's saying they want Sammy to apologize for using PEDs, like personally the Ricketts family.
Oh, okay. So look, just to be sort of clear, so he never did it after the MLB sort of said, okay, the union have said, this is a no go.
I have no idea what he did. I'm saying is the Ricketts family who bought the team in 2009 are offended by what Sammy Sosa did in 1998, even though what Sammy Sosa did in 1998 made their franchise much more valuable than it would have been otherwise.
A lot of people made some money in baseball in 1998, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them did. And the ones who made them all the money are the only ones not in the Hall of Fame.
Selig, Bud.
Yeah, well, Selig, Bud is in the Hall of Fame.
That's where I'm going.
Fox, Bobby is in the Hall of Fame. Marusa, Tony is in the Hall of Fame. Tori, Joe is in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. Alex Rodriguez, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Rafael Palmeiro, Gary Sheffield, Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds are not in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. Because we all know that Jose Canseco, we all know that Tony La Russa would have been an incredible manager without Jose Canseco and Mark McGwire. So
my props to Jose.
Jose Canseco, the only man who told the truth.
And I believe him. I mean, like I think I mentioned this before, right? Where I saw him on a DJ
100% told the truth. 100% told the truth.
Well, also too, I think I told you about I saw him on a DJ Vlad interview where he's talking about I was making millions of dollars one year, and then the next year I'm at my buddy's. I'm living in my buddy's garage. Who admits that? if he's going to admit that,
Yeah.
why is he necessarily lying about sort of like injecting IROD? Probably it's not.
Yeah. So, and then again, Piazza, Irod, Bagwell, other people under suspicion at the same
Yeah,
point.
but yeah, but that's a good thing. Yeah, so I guess we'll keep.
Yeah. So just I just want to see what happens with that. If he gets elected,
Who's
what
he up
does that
against? Do
mean?
we know?
What?
Do we know who he's up against?
It hasn't been officially announced. It's one of the people who was in the nominating committee announced or made it kind of leaked it that he was there. So we haven't seen the list
Okay.
yet. We're gonna see
That's
the
why I
list.
haven't seen. Okay.
I think we'll see the list over the weekend. But
Okay.
Sosa's apparently off. So that's a hold this space as to where it goes, just going forward on that.
Gotcha. Okay.
The bad. Everything that happened in the end of the Chiefs-Bills football game last week.
Yeah, it was fun to watch.
Like, you can say whatever you want about Bill Belichick. He will never do what Andy Reid did at the end of that game. Particularly since Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes were wrong. They were just wrong. The referees make terrible decisions all the time. But Tony was in front of the football. He wasn't in front of the center. His foot was past the end of the football. It was egregious. He never checked with anyone. They're like, well, the referee should have told them. Referees will tell you if you're close. But if you're like in the defensive half, come on, dude, right? And all the chief apologists who suck, by the way, I'm sorry, who are like, well, this wasn't called whatever. It's never been called before. It's been called 12 times. It's called to the Ravens game on the Ravens earlier the same freaking day. So it's not been called that much in the past, but the Chiefs have been fucking with the where their players have been standing all year. All year. At the beginning of the season, remember? Their right tackle was constantly too far from the line. Now the wide receivers constantly whatever, and all the people are like, well, it didn't get called in the Miami game. Here's that argument. And let me just play that argument now.
Sure.
I know I was speeding officer, but there's a guy speeding in Miami who he didn't pull over, so why are you pulling me over? That's the argument you're making. I'm sorry they didn't call it all the other times you were speeding. They caught you that time, and they're like, well, wiped out a great play. The flag happened before the play happened. That is an illegal formation. You could call it offsides. It's an illegal formation.
Had it not been one of the most spectacular things, sure, but had it not been one of the most spectacular things to watch in real time, we're not having this conversation.
True, but the Philly special is also an illegal formation.
I agree with you. I'm just throwing that there, but yeah.
So and then he just went off and was a bitch to Josh Allen.
Which he apologized for right away.
He did apologize eventually but he went off the whole game. He's like, I looked, he was barely offsides. Okay, let's have Von Miller line up that close to you on the play. By the way, the fact Von Miller was playing this game, also a problem.
But I don't want to call Patrick Mahomes Jackson Mahomes. I like this guy a lot. So
I like him too. This was his worst hour. This is one of those things that
we all get one.
Fine, he gets the one. He was real bad. And the fact that the owner gave the game ball to the Bills coach, McDermott, after the tough week he had, because he got outed for comparing the way his team needs to work together, like the guys from Al Qaeda on 9/11. I'm sorry, that's not a tough week.
Is it a wrong time to say that I've got a crush on Kim Pagula?
No, it's never a wrong time for that.
Okay.
But
I thought you'd go with that. Okay.
But everything associated with that game was just bad. When Roger Goodell is the good guy in the situation, you all fucked up.
They tripped over the bar. I'll give you that.
Oh my God. He came out and he's like, being a referee is a very tough job. In this case, they got absolutely right. I'd like to commend the referees, yada, yada, yada. I'm sorry. It was a ridiculous play, and a ridiculous play by Kelsey. When he gets in the Hall of Fame, they should still show that play on his highlight reel.
I would agree with that. Yes.
100% should still show it. That said, it shouldn't have counted.
Yeah, I wonder how many years separated him and Taylor Swift will be.
I don't know. Those two seem to like each other.
Oh, whatever. All right, no, I'm not talking about Taylor Swift. Let's move on.
He's the Time Person of the Year, I'll have you know. So,
okay, well, I stand corrected then.
but actually, technically, she's her second time as Time Person of the Year. She was alive when Time named all of us. Remember, Time Person of the Year was you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, isn't that when I came up with this dumb idea that I was a 4-time Time Person of the Year?
Something along those lines. Yeah. So, yeah. So this is her second time winning, which is nice.
Oh, there you go.
Just past me. I still only got the one. But anyway, so that's the bad. Staying with football, the ugly.
Okay.
I want to give you 3 names, and you tell me what these 3 people have in common.
They've never been in my kitchen.
Probably true. J.J. Jansen, Taylor Moton, and Shaq Thompson.
Got no clue.
They're the only 3 people who are on the Carolina Panthers who have ever had a winning season with the team.
I never would have got that.
J.J. Jansen, Taylor Moton, and Shaq Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know things are bad in the NBA when the Pistons have lost 22 straight, and the Spurs have lost 18 straight. The first time that's ever happened in NBA or NHL history, for that matter. For 2 teams to have that streaks up at the same time. There's a joke that the Pistons and Panthers need to play each other. But here's how bad things are. Like, they have the first pick in the draft, except they don't.
Yep, Chicago's got it.
Bears have the first pick in the draft, and they're just awful. The owner, like, they need to find a way to Dan Snyder him out of the league. I don't know how they can, but he's real bad.
As a Saints fan, I'm happy we play them twice.
You should be. That franchise has been dog crap, and I don't know. By the way, there's this whole thing that. By the way, I'm on the record. Belichick is not leaving the Patriots. I'm on the record as saying that, just so you know. Mm-hmm. But they're all like, "Oh, Belichick is going to go to Carolina." Why the hell would Belichick go to Carolina? What is there for infrastructure in Carolina that he would be interested in?
Yeah, there'd be no reason
if he wants to lose 15 games, he can do that in New England. Like, why move to Carolina to do that? Yeah. Right? So, by the way, if he does leave, the job that he would leave for came open today, which is San Diego, or sorry, the LA Chargers. They fired their GM and coach. He's got a great young quarterback and a team that just like Staley just mismanaged that team over and over and over again. You put Belichick ahead of the Chargers, that's a legitimate team. I'm on record, he's not going anywhere, at least this offseason. But if he did, that's the team he's going to. He's not going to Washington, right? I don't know why he would go there. Because those are 3 teams everyone's talking about.
How old is Belichick now at this point?
70, I think. I think he just turned 70. He's still the second oldest coach in the league.
Maybe, I guess if I was him, I'd just say that, you know what, I'm done.
I don't think he's leaving. He's 71.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying what I would do, but
I mean, he may want to re-up his image after. Does he want to leave after? Let's just say Patriots are going to beat the Jets again. I'm just telling you that now.
Well, but I mean,
so they'll be 4-13 at the end of the season. So
no, the Panthers are good. They're a good ugly. That's for sure.
Yeah, the Panthers are. I don't even know. I'm not even mad at the Pistons. Although trade Jaden Ivey, like. Ivy's good. I don't understand why he doesn't play for a team. If you don't like him, like the Celtics would play Ivy right now. Mm-hmm. And the Celtics are the #1 team in the Eastern Conference. He would be like the 9th or 10th player on our bench, right? Like the 9th or 10th guy. And he's not getting any run for a team that's lost 22 games in a row. I don't know what to tell you. But I would take Ivy in a heartbeat. Trade him straight up for O'Shea Brissett and see how things go.
There's a name I haven't even seen in print. Holy shit, and I don't know how long.
Yeah. Well, he signed with the offseason. I think he's playing like 4 games so far.
No, that's a really good one. Especially too. I mean, like if I'm a Panthers fan, like I'm just so frustrated. I mean, you don't even have Caleb Williams coming, and then if I'm a Bears fan, it's like, oh shit, what are we doing here with Justin Fields?
I mean, so there was a really interesting article that came out yesterday,
Okay.
where one of the reporters here, I can't remember his name, called 7 general managers around the league, and on the basis of anonymity, easy for me to say, asked them what they would do if they're in a Bear situation.
Okay.
And all 7 of them agreed. You draft the best quarterback available and you trade Justin Fields. All 7 of them agreed, being divorced from the situation, not knowing Fields, whatever. They also asked if their team needed a quarterback, would they trade for Fields? All 7 of them said yes. So it's not a matter of them not liking Fields. It's a matter of them saying, hey, I mean, these are 2 of the top quarterbacks.
Don't they also have like this number, like, because they've got a high pick themselves, no?
They'll have right now they have 1 in 8.
Okay.
Or 1 in 7 or 8. I can't remember. I think they and the Chargers are tied. So that was the thing. The Chargers going to trade their first round pick for Belichick. That was one of the other things I heard.
All right, let's move on to the good.
Yeah,
we're just talking nonsense now.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. Going back to that, they did say that, and they also asked, what would you trade? What's the trade going to be for Fields? And several said a 2nd round pick. Several said like a 2nd and a 4th. A couple said a couple of 3rds or a 4th that can move up to a 3rd, depending on playing time, stuff along those lines. But they also said what team is going to make the trade for Fields, and what team do you think was the most common answer? Why am I asking you?
I hate Jared Carr, so is that the answer?
That's the answer. The New Orleans Saints is the team they think he's most likely to end up on.
Yeah, so, I'm not a Derek Carr person by any chance. That's for damn sure.
Me neither. So anyway, all right. So the good, I'm going to do it. You're going to hate me for it. That tournament was awesome.
No, I'm not. I'm going to tell you right now. I was wrong. I went in there thinking like this is bullshit, that no one's going to give a fuck. Apparently, a lot of people gave a fuck, including me. So no, I'm not going to hate you for it. I was actually going to tweet you, and I just let time get in the way and other stuff, and I'm gonna eat some crow here, man. I'm gonna have a plate full of crow and say that I was 1,000% wrong on the in-season tournament. You were right. A lot of people were right. Dave Whitlock, Longhorn Dave, our friend, said the same thing. He said, "Give it a chance, Kirk. Give it a chance."
Yeah. So are there tweaks that need to be made to it? 100% there are things that need to be made. But this is the first time they're trying it. They had to try it.
Yeah.
But it came down to whether or not the players cared. And the players 100% cared.
Sure. Yeah.
LeBron cared. The Celtics, they lost, they cared. Tyrese Halliburton cared. That dude was on TV 3 times, national broadcast. The rest of the season is going to be on once.
Right. Yep. No,
it was Tyrese Halliburton's coming out party. Tyrese Halliburton, it would not shock me if he makes an all-NBA team, like a 3rd team, based off of how he did in this tournament, because people have finally got to see him play. So that tournament, like I said, there are things they need to change. They need to have all teams playing at the same time. There are a few things I think they could do that would make it cool. One of them, this actually was from Kevin O'Connor on the Ringer. Move it to February. So block off a time period where everyone's playing each other, right, during a certain time period. And then you move it to February, because what happens after the Super Bowl? Nothing until March Madness. So you move it to February, and then we have single elimination basketball leading into March Madness. So that's just basketball for a month and a half, right? But also you have to make this 5 groups of 6 instead of 6 groups of 5, because it has to be an even number. You can't have
to make that thing work that we were talking about last week.
Yeah. If you're going to do point differential. The other thing I've heard, and I think this is actually Bill Simmons' one, that if the tiebreaker is whoever wins the most quarters during their games. So if they're going to play 4 games at 16 quarters. I won 11 quarters. You only won 10 quarters. We advance. I like that one too, because it makes them play hard every quarter and doesn't make it like the what happened in the Celtics Bulls game or what happened in the Magic Celtics game, for example.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm more than happy to admit I was wrong. I got invested. I well, I let my old school mentality sort of like take over, but so it's okay to admit when you're wrong, kids.
yeah, yeah, it's good. If the players are going to care, it's going to matter.
Mhm.
That's what it comes down to. So,
I'll close with this if I could. In Winnipeg, we've got a Canadian Basketball League team.
okay.
So we went there twice, my wife and I, and well,
I also have an A-ball team in my league, in my town. Sorry, continue.
an A ball, well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'm just saying how minor league it would be.
it is
So,
minor league. I mean, it's very minor league, but they play in the arena where the Jets play.
okay. What are they called?
The Winnipeg Sea Bears,
Sea Bears.
like polar bears, because they go in the sea.
Winnipeg.
Mhm.
1,800 miles from the ocean?
Didn't say it was a great name, but I'm gonna say it's a. I didn't name it.
The Seattle Sunshine. Continue.
Yeah, well, it's better than the Utah Jazz.
True. I still think that they should have just made a trade back in the day when the Charlotte was still the Hornets. The Hornets should or the Charlotte was still the Bobcats. They should have traded the Jazz and Hornets trade their name back. The Utah Hornets, it's the Beehive State. That would at least make sense and give New Orleans the Jazz back.
Not gonna disagree with you. I mean, like I'm not defending their name. I'm just gonna what I'll say is what they do in the CBL is they go with that thing that they do in the All-Star game in the NBA, which is basically after a certain amount of time, then it's a difference of where you're gonna go like get to your point total.
Yeah, so that was something they talked about as well in different things. Make it a point total for the fourth quarter or something.
That's what they do in this league. And again, I'm not gonna. None of these guys are ever gonna make the NBA. A lot of these guys couldn't even make the Italian league.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. It's still a hell of a lot of fun. It's cheap entertainment. It's in a big arena where we'll pack about 5,000 people there, and they close it off. It's hella fun. It's great. I guess where I'm going here with that is like you can make a lot of things fun if you just sort of like tweak things and then just look at it differently. Well, let's like the NHL. The shootout's great. I sure as hell don't want it in the playoffs.
Oh, of course.
But
Yeah, I mean the Bruins won probably their best game of the season tonight against the Islanders in a shootout. So yeah, I'm in favor for it as long as I have David Pastrnak on my team. But yeah, I mean there are a lot of things, and they're going to tweak it over the years. I honestly think moving it to February and like having that kick off the main part of your season and blocking it off. So supposed to Tuesday and Thursday and Friday nights during November. I mean, the point of it, they did this a lot of times, make people care about basketball when nobody cares about basketball. Because for most people, the NBA season starts on Christmas.
a lot of people. I'll throw myself in there.
That's the first time anybody pays any attention, right? Mm-hmm. So they did it in November to make people care about games in November. But if you did it in February, then you lead into everything. I think it's great, and or at least the idea of blocking off the time. So you have like a 2-week period where every game you play in those 2 weeks is the tournament, so you can keep track on a daily basis, like you would have like the World Cup, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think also too, you got to get the sites to like ESPN. They've got to sort of like get that in their tracking their standings because I don't think they did a very good job on that. But no, I mean I had zero excitement when it began. That was not the case when it ended, and it does give you something to sort of like shoot for.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So, and I think it was great that it was the Lakers and the Pacers. Like an old traditional team, do I want the Pacers to win? Of course I want the Pacers to win. I don't know if the Lakers have any more banners. Mm-hmm. But it was great to have like the old guys established team of LeBron and a new up and coming team that nobody knew. I think it was great.
You got to give LeBron massive props on this one because where he goes, the league goes. If LeBron buys in, everyone else will buy in. And I still remember, I forget what athlete said this, but it was another All-Star, like during the whole COVID situation in the NBA, when okay, are we going to do something or are we not? And I don't think it was Tatum, but it was that level player said, well, we're basically going to wait for what LeBron wants to do, whether they were going to continue a season or not.
Yep.
And if he buys in, everyone will buy in. Buy in by example. I guess with that, we're gonna call the show a close. I'm gonna do a bit of promotion here if I could. Andrea Tessman, myself, and Brad Nelson, we have another show that we call How the Hell Was This a Hit? We just recorded, what did the Fox say? So we recorded that, and what I've got coming up soon is Tiny Tim, Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Which is fascinating.
Like this.
Yeah. When you think about it, like anyone can become a star in social media now. Back then, you had 3 channels that ran maybe 8 hours a day. He was a novelty person who was on national television. To this day, holds the record for the biggest record on the Tonight Show when he got married to whatever the hell, Miss Vicky. So I think that could be really interesting. Vinny Lospinoso has done a lot of shows with me. What's the last one we did with him? The last one I think that's kind of going to come up is on James A.R. Kinney. He is the godfather of black hockey in Canada. So so it's a really interesting show. James A.R. Kinney, there was a significant black population in the Maritimes, in Nova Scotia specifically. And he is a pastor who wanted to sort of like get more youth coming into his church, came up with a league of that. And there's actually quite a few innovations that sort of came from that. Actually, that was the first league that allowed the butterfly style in goaltending. So,
interesting.
Yeah, it really is. So that one's going to be coming up soon. We've got a few other ones that we've recorded, and another shout out to Vinny. He set up a few interviews for me, and one that sort of came up that's going to be coming up soon is with a gentleman named Melvin Thrower. His father was Willie Thrower.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask, but that's a pretty distinctive last name.
Yeah, well, and he's the first official black quarterback in the NFL. So first black quarterback in the NFL, first black quarterback in the Big Ten because he played at Illinois. No, sorry, Michigan State. My apologies.
Okay.
And then he later played in Winnipeg with the Blue Bombers.
Wow.
Yeah, so shout out to him because he's been working on a few things for me. That and a few other shows that I've been waiting to sort of like work on. I'm going to be doing that next week. A lot of things happening in the Buchnerverse. That sounds so obnoxious, but whatever.
It is what it is. You have a lot of stuff.
It is what it is. Evan and I are also a big part of, we had a little discussion right away of our Pro Football Hall of Fame Revisited project.
He and I greatly disagree on the way we're doing things, but he's the boss. So I'm going to go around. I'm just telling you.
Things can change.
As I joked in our chat, Vinny just needs to get ready to chair our seniors committee coming up, and we get to like 1992.
I have to check that out, like what you said. I haven't seen everything since that, but yeah, I'm sure that'll be sort of interesting. But what that basically is a lot of us football fans, historians, whatnot, and there's a couple pretty big historians who are part of this, Ken Crippen being one of them, because he's one of the voters, where we are acting as if the Pro Football Hall of Fame, going back to our 25-year rule that we said earlier, what if the Pro Football Hall of Fame began 25 years after its inception? And we're at 1953 now. So I believe tomorrow the ballot will come up for the 1953 finals. And if you want to be a part of that, just let us know. We're here. That's pretty much it. That's the end of
we're looking for more people. So
there you go. So I'll close the way I always do. Wherever you are, wherever you may be, make it a great day because it's not coming again. Take care,
Take care,
everybody.
guys. Bye.